What's going on, guys? Here we are at TerrorCon in Marlborough, Massachusetts. I am the Horror Seeker with my first interview here with Joe. Joe, why don't you tell us about, first of all, the name of your business and what it is that you do, and wait till the people see the massive collection that you've amassed over how many years now, you said?
I started in 1987, so over 35 years of collecting. My company's name is Hollywood Joe's Memorabilia, and I've been passionate about autographs since I was a teenager. And I've amassed a tremendous collection of one-of-a-kind signed pieces. They're matted and framed and presented in a very dramatic fashion. Some of these sets can take a decade or more to put together. And I do a lot of one-of-a-kind and very unique things.
I'm looking around at some of these pieces, and it's just, they range from commonplace to out of this world to you're never going to see it again. I'm surprised he's even selling some of these. Because I'm looking right behind me there, a whole panel of Jaws. As you see, we just turned over there to check that one out. We got Hocus Pocus. We've got The Shining somewhere around here. The Gremlins. Excuse the background noise, folks. Over here is one of the more amazing pieces I saw. We're going to do a nice pan shot to get everything in here. But behind the counter here, he's got The Wizard of Oz with the whole main cast on it, which is just again, that's one of those pieces you thought didn't exist and you would never see. It's a privilege just to be here to look at some of this stuff, and it's very appropriately priced. Some stuff ranges from thousands and thousands of dollars, and again, very appropriately so, because it's unreal to be around things you knew these people handled and signed. How many people have you had the privilege of actually meeting?
I've met thousands of celebrities over the years. In fact, while you were waiting for me, I was talking to Derek Mears, who played Jason in Friday the 13th,
the new one.
And I had to go say hello and let him know that I appreciate him being here.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. But I try to have a little something for everybody. I have autographs that start at like $40, and then they can go up into the tens of thousands, depending on what it is. But I really consider what I do, I consider it part museum, part retail store. I consider it a rotating collection, and I enjoy it while I have it. And then when it finds its forever home, I'm pleased that somebody else is going to enjoy it. But having said that, sometimes it's bittersweet. Like when The Wizard of Oz sells, I'll never be able to replicate that piece. I'll never do it again. So as much as it'll be nice to make money, a little tear will stream down my face as it goes away.
If I were you, I feel like I'd want just one more moment to hold it for a few minutes before it leaves, whenever someone ends up getting that. And I'm pretty sure, do you vet your people when they pick this stuff up? I know money talks, but when you're talking about a piece like that's that precious, do you actually look at people and go, okay, why do you want this piece?
Well, absolutely. I do like the thought of someone owning it that's really going to enjoy it. Sometimes people do buy things for investment reasons. I hate the idea of it sitting in a vault somewhere just appreciating. I want people to see it and enjoy it. And even though I have it for sale, it's coming out and people get to view it and see it. And I think it's an important part of Hollywood history. There's a little magic that some of these celebrities have handled this stuff and put their mark on it. And I think that's really cool. There's some electricity there.
Yeah, you're hitting a lot of good notes as far as museum quality. This is history. You're absolutely right on both those counts. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Can you tell me, what would you consider one of your favorite pieces here?
One of my favorite pieces.
And is it around here that easily see?
It's really hard to pick out one that's my favorite. It usually tends to be something that I've recently framed up. It's not the most expensive piece in my display right now, but my favorite one is the Terminator 2, and it's right over here. It's got the full cast of Terminator 2, the main cast, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Linda Hamilton, the late Earl Bowen, Eddie Furlong, Robert Patrick, Joe Morton, and Carlos Cueva. So the whole main cast, and I really enjoy putting this stuff together.
Did you say you had Arnold on there?
Yeah, Arnold is on there.
Is he in the middle? Is that him?
Upper left-hand corner.
Upper left. So there you go. Upper left is Schwarzenegger. Nice.
So
very sweet.
So that's one of my favorites in the display right now, and it's an affordable piece at a couple of grand. and it's going to continually go up in value.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Joe, thank you very much for your time.
A pleasure meeting you.
If you want to plug your business one last time?
Check us out on Facebook or Instagram, Hollywood Joe's Memorabilia. You'll see a lot of my pieces posted there. And if there's something that tickles your fancy, all you need to do is send me a message, and we take all major credit cards. We'll arrange a purchase for you. But you're welcome to just look and see what's there and walk and check it out. So.
And there'll be a lot to include in the description below, but I will include a link to Joe's company so you guys can check out all his merchandise. As we've seen just snippets of this while we're talking, I'm going to do a quick panel so you get a nice, better view of what he's going to offer. And in the meantime, we're going to move on. Let Joe get back to business. Thank you guys very much. Thank you again, Joe.
Thanks again. Good to talk to you.
Appreciate you. Down here, some more original artwork. Check out Adam's stuff. Now, I'm here with Rebecca Rowland. I forgot where you were from, so why don't you just tell us about yourself, what you do, your work, and
Okay.
what are you doing here?
So I am from Western Massachusetts, but I've lived all over Massachusetts, and I am a dark fiction editor and author.
Awesome. And you were telling me about your upcoming, or not your upcoming book, but your latest one you're most proud of.
So the American Cannibal. So it's 20 stories of American history reinterpreted by 20 different authors, some of the biggest names in horror, adding a twist of cannibalism.
Different, you said, like different periods of time.
Different periods, so like anywhere from the mid-1500s, here's our timeline, all the way to the Y2K scare.
Oh, damn. And it's all just actual events of history, just with, like you said, this cannibalism aspect added to it. So I'm very intrigued to actually read that one. That's got my attention. So what other books do you have here that you're most proud of, or your favorites that you put together?
I also have Generation X. So this is a collection. It's all horror authors who are from Generation X. And they wrote stories that kind of from the 70s, 80s, 90s touchstones. So everything from the Satanic Panic to MTV, before microwaves, way before cell phones.
Yeah, I was just going to say before cell phones, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm really proud of this as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, I know we went over this before, but now this is for on camera. Can you tell us a little bit about your writing process, how you come up with stories or ideas? As an indie author myself, that's one of the more common questions I get. Where do you come up with your ideas? So I am afraid I'm going to have to do that to you. Where do you come up with your ideas?
Well, I'm so glad. This is like the perfect segue for my book that is coming out October 10th. So I only have an arc of it right now because it comes out in about a month. But it is White Trash and Recycled Nightmares, and the reason why it's called that is because almost all of the stories in here were inspired by nightmares that I had. And so I was having trouble sleeping. I kept my phone by my bed with the notepad open, and as soon as I woke up, I wrote down everything I could remember from that dream. And then later on, I tried to piece it into a story. So
I try to do that. Unfortunately, I can't remember my dreams. I very few I do. I have one or two that are reoccurring that I sort of segue into my works. Do you, I mean, this is a habit of mine, do you have notepads all over your house in the event that you come up with an idea and just don't want to write it down?
I do it. I feel so, I don't know, I feel so like 21st century, but I put them all on my phone, which actually can be really dangerous if I But what I try to do is I'll take pieces and I'll throw them into Scrivener. I use that to write. And so I'll just get pieces and I'll open up a new file, throw it into Scrivener, and then hopefully it becomes something someday.
Yeah, because I'm just littered with papers everywhere. I'm such a mess of ideas. I might as well just start throwing them in a giant hamper and just whenever I need an idea, just randomly reach out and pick one up. You know, make it fun, make it a fun process.
Today.
Exactly, there you go. So what is your favorite, I mean, creating these stories is enough reward in and of itself, but what's your, like what got you into writing?
Gosh.
Where did that start for you?
I mean, I was a really introverted kid, and I just had a really big imagination, and I loved to read, and so I think that's just what did it. And I think like a lot of writers, I'm losing my microphone. Like a lot of writers, I'm in my head a lot, and so writing it helps it come out.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the way it was for me as far as ideas bothering me. On top of the fact that I wanted to see/read the things that I wanted to see, and I was tired of the same things. And I've read some of your stuff. It's exactly that. It's different. It's unusual. Has anyone ever approached you with any kind of optioning up for films at all yet, or are you at that level yet?
Not yet. Chris, now I'm depressed.
Well,
not a failure.
Some point call you a failure. You got a table full of material here. I got 2. You have how many now? 1, 2, 3, 6.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
So not all here, but
no, you are far from a failure. How long does it take you to actually put together a novel set? You had a couple anthologies, I see, but that was
I'm mostly a short fiction writer, so as far as like short fiction collections, I would say a year and a half, maybe.
Really? From nothing to complete? From nothing to complete.
Okay. But I mean, and I do a lot of editing, and so from anthologies, it's usually a whole year. So I'll have the call or I'll have the invite, we'll say in April, and then the book won't come out until the following March.
Okay.
And that's just because I take my time with it. I take time with the editing. I want to make sure that I have arcs out for reviewers. I want to make sure I have time for an audiobook narrator.
Yeah.
I think if you rush it gets sloppy, it gets messy. So about a year, from beginning to end.
That's solid. Wish I could write that fast. I'll put it together that fast. I'm a one-man army. So real quick, I know you're a busy weekend, so I want to just wrap this up for you. What kind of advice, if you could pick like 2 sentences, what advice would you give for upcoming authors? Like myself, I know I've asked you already, but now it's just for anyone else that might be watching.
Yeah, my best piece of advice is don't censor yourself. If you want to write XYZ and everyone else is saying like, oh, don't do that, only write ABC, write XYZ, because sometimes, I hate to say it, you might be the only one reading it, but also when it's out there, you want to be proud of it. You want to say like, that's me, like I did that, this is my work. And you don't want it to come off as plastic, you want to be proud of it. So don't write what other people want, write what you want.
That's beautiful. I couldn't say that any better. I like that. Well, Rebecca, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you. I'm glad to see you again. So yeah, anyone you want to check out her work, it's for Rebecca Rowland. You have a website, don't you?
I'm at rowlandbooks.com, ROWLAND books.com.
Okay, there you go, folks. So check her out and read her stuff, because it is pretty creepy, and she pulls no punches when it comes to scaring the crap out of you. So check her out, Rebecca Rowland. Thank you again. Hope you have a good weekend.
You too.
Here at TerrorCon in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Once again, we are here with John Kassir. You know him, he needs no introduction, as the Crypt Keeper, of course. John, how are you doing today?
Excellent. We're celebrating.
I'll have to say a few more puns. I love it. Beautiful.
How you doing, Chris?
I'm doing fantastic, even better now. So can you tell me real quick, because everyone, when they come up with characters this iconic that everybody knows, it's known for the voice. How long did it take you to come up with this? Did you sit down in the workshop A, B, and C type tones? Or
Not at all. Not at all. I was invited down to Kevin Yeager's studio, and he was working on the puppet at that time. Had different versions of it, but he was close to what you see now. And I got to audition for him at that time, and this is the voice I came up with right on the spot for him. And he loved it right off the bat. And the next day he had me doing it for Joel Silver and Dick Donner in their office, and maybe one of the easiest jobs I ever got, and the longest lasting ones I ever did.
How many seasons did the Tales from the Crypt go for?
7 seasons.
It was 7 seasons, and what was it? 3 movies, right?
3 movies, record albums, Christmas album,
Where is that? I can't
a
find it anywhere.
cartoon, a game show.
I cannot find the Christmas album anywhere except for like $300 online.
I know. Well, they only did one pressing of them, and they sold them all the first time. I mean, literally, it could be a stocking stuffer every year if they printed more. But
I mean, it's on YouTube. I'll include a link to that, people. If you haven't heard it, it's out of this world. It's so freaking funny. I listen to it every year. And I try to get as many friends with me on that as much as possible. I'm stuttering here because I'm just excited to be here.
thanks, man. Well, I'm going to get back to the fans, but I really want to thank you for having me on your cast, and may all your screams come true.
Thank you very much, John. Appreciate you.